Anyone that watches my videos or visits my website knows how much I love bog filters. They keep the water clean, clear and healthy. They're cheaper than most other pond filters because they're so easy to build yourself. There's a heap of ways to construct them. They can be made to look natural or more formal. They provide a ton of surface area for beneficial bacteria and organisms. They require very little maintenance. And they're very efficient to run, as they work best with a slower flow rate than most other pond filters. And that's where the only real weakness is, in my opinion. It seems that everyone wants super clean pebbles and rock inside their pond. But that's not super easy to achieve with a slow flow rate. There's lots of biological processes that are going on inside a pond. Bacteria, algae, diatoms and tiny organisms are breaking down organic material inside the pond. It's mostly fish waste and decaying plant material like leaves. So you end up with this light and fluffy dust. I call it mulm, some call it detritus, some call it muck, and some just call it algae. Whatever you call it, it's easily stirred up, and it also quickly settles back down as it's mostly water. So when it gets stirred up like this, some will be pulled up by the pump into the bog filter, some of it will be broken down into even smaller particles and pass through the filter, some will settle out in the void space of the bog, and some will get trapped inside the plant roots. So if we only have a slow flow, not much of this mulm will even make it to the filter. Most of it will just settle back onto the floor of the pond and cover the rock and the pebble. In a small pond like this wine barrel with a bog filter, it's less of an issue as the way the water spills into the pond, it sort of keeps enough water movement that the mulm stays suspended and gets pulled into the pump and then the bog. You still get some really small particles that have probably moved through the filter multiple times, and now they're just heavy enough that they could become part of the substrate. The larger a pond gets, the harder it is to circulate all areas and keep the mulm in suspension. On my dream pond, I have multiple jets in the shallow zones that help push the mulm out of these areas. These jets do a pretty good job at pushing the mulm away and keeping the rock and the pebble clean. There's a dedicated pump running the jets, and it sits inside the intake bay, along with the other pumps that feed bogs, streams, and a filter barrel with sponges and bioballs. But all that extra flow, of course, costs extra to run. That's why it's really important to get pumps that are as efficient as possible. I'll leave a link in the description to the pumps I use if you're interested. Even with the extra flow, there'll still be areas where the mulm builds up. It's like dust in a house. The more you dust, the less dust there'll be. Same with mulm. If you don't want it, you need to remove it. It's important to know that the mulm isn't bad for the fish. In fact, it's a very important part of the food chain. If you've ever netted a bunch of it up, you'll find heaps of life. Tadpoles, dragonfly nymphs, fish fry, shrimp, scuds, and that's just some of the stuff that you can see with the naked eye. There's heaps of microscopic life that we can't even see. So there's a few options for removal. You can net the areas with the heaviest buildup to remove it. That's the cheapest option. The more you remove, the cleaner the bottom of the pond will be. I like to use cheap pool skimming nets. They work pretty good. The finer the mesh on the net, the better. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested. You'll need to get a better handle. I use a piece of 1-inch pressure pipe. You can also use a pond vacuum. I have an Oazi pond vac, and it works pretty good, but you do lose a lot of water when you vacuum. There is a fine mesh bag that you can attach over the outflow and return the water to the pond, but it gets blocked really quickly. You might also consider making maintenance less by increasing the size of the bog filter. A larger bog will require a higher flow rate, which will help pull in mulm, but it's still slow enough to allow the mulm to settle inside the filter. This pond has the most mulm out of all of my ponds, and it's probably because the bog is undersized for what I would normally do. But it's still important to remember that the BOG filter's primary task is as a biological filter. That is to keep the water clean, clear and healthy. As I mentioned, it does provide some mechanical filtration, but it's not perfect. Small particles will pass through and still accumulate inside the pond. This pond's bog is sized correctly and the pebble is much cleaner. It's also possible that the size of the pebble helps. This pond's pebble is 20mm or 3/4 of an inch, whereas this pond's pebble is 7mm or 1/4 of an inch. I did make a video on pebble size, so I'll link that in the description rather than rehash my thinking on that. Now, I think if you know that the mulm is going to bother you, you'll need to incorporate more flow and a dedicated filter to trap it. This is my aquascape pond, and it has a ton of flow. The water's circulating the entire pond every 15 minutes. The pebble stays reasonably clean, and if it gets too thick, it's easy to stir the pond up, and due to the high flow, it's pulled into the filters. The skimmer and biofalls both have sponges, although the sponge in the skimmer is more for pump protection. It doesn't really trap fine sediments like mulm. This pond does cost substantially more to run due to the higher pumping volume, and you need to flush the sponges more often if you want to keep trapping the mulm. I'm quite lazy, and often the mulm still builds up in this pond even with the much higher flow. Now for me personally, the mulm really doesn't bother me. I like its benefits, and I still think the pond looks great from the surface, looking down into it. The water is clean and clear, and you can easily see straight through. It's only when you stick a camera down there that it looks dirty, but the fish don't care. I think I got the balance right on my dream pond. It's got bog filtration, a high flow filter, it has jets, and almost all the water is pulled through the intake bay. I say almost because I do have another pump in a barrel pulling water from down low. Did it make a difference? Probably not. If I did it again, I'd probably just have all the pumps inside the intake bay. But I would like to do an experiment and divert the pump that's in the barrel to a dedicated solids handling filter and see if it makes a huge difference. That's a project for the future. Anyway, the water in this pond is circulated, I'd say close to once every hour. You might also be wondering about the aerators. Do they help keep the mulm suspended and therefore aid in it being captured by the filters? The answer is I don't think so. I actually find that one of the areas that accumulates the most mulm is behind the aerator. Anyway, surely no one's made it this far into my rambling. I probably should wrap this up. So because I find the mulm beneficial and I'm lazy, I'm happy to allow a decent amount of it accumulate before I start netting or vacuuming the pond. I'm also a tight ass, so I don't want to pay the power bill trying to circulate all my ponds 4 times every hour. And I also think that a healthy amount of mulm helps keep string algae at bay. Like I mentioned earlier, there are diatom, bits of algae and bacteria in the mulm, and they're helping to process nutrient that the string algae could also use. I do think it's possible to keep a pond too clean, especially for these ecosystem type of ponds. Anyway, I think I'll call it a wrap there. I hope this wasn't too boring. If you made it this far, give the thumbs up button a tickle for me. Thanks for watching. See ya.